Hello my friends, and welcome back for another episode of the Cozy Crochet Club. I know I'm a week late this month. I'm sorry, but better late than never. I hope you guys are enjoying the holiday season with your family and friends. For those of you that are new here, this is a crochet podcast with any and everything about crochet. We'll talk about my whips, what I want to make, yarns I'm dying to try. I have a fun segment called Crochet in the Wild. If you've been here before, you know all of this. We're not going to waste a whole bunch of time in the intro. We're going to go ahead and just jump right into the first section, which is where I highlight some of your guys' community makes. This year I was a little bit late posting my request for your guys' makes, so it's not too late to go and post them in the community tab. If you do post your makes in the community tab, I will choose a couple to highlight in the next episode of the Cozy Crochet Club podcast. For today, we have Carolyn, who shared a couple of her Christmas makes that are absolutely adorable. She has this little, it looks like it's a goose, or I think it's a duck or a goose in a Christmas tree. It is so precious and itty bitty. I love it so much. She also made this adorable little candy cane, and honestly, the first time looking at this, I didn't notice the giant crochet candy cane pillow in the background. It's a little bit in the blurry background, but beautiful. And then she has this precious little frog wearing a scarf. I just love all of these makes. Carolyn, thank you so much for sharing yet again your crochet makes. I love seeing them and would love to see some of your guys' makes as well if you want to share them over in the community tab for next time. Now we can talk about what I've been working on. So I have not really finished a lot of quantity of items this month, but I did finish a very big project. And if you've been hanging out with me on my socials, there's no doubt you have not seen, or you have seen, the giant chocolate chip cookie that I made in honor of National Cookie Day, December 4th. So that took up a lot of my time, and that was really kind of the only project that I finished for the entire month, but it was well worth it. Moon loves it. But I do have a couple of whips that I wanted to share with you guys. So first, I have this moss stitch scarf that I am making. It is still a whip. It's all done with the crochet piece of it, but I have to finish the tassels. This is a free YouTube video tutorial by Blondie Knots, and this was such an easy and fun pattern to make. Believe it or not, I used only my scrap yarn for this scarf, and I think that the color combination turned out so beautifully. This is going to be a gift for my mother-in-law, so hopefully she's not watching this. What I loved about this pattern was that you do not have to weave in your ends, which I hate weaving in my ends on striped things. You just get to use them as your tassels. So the reason it's still a whip, it is so close to being done. I just have to cut off the ends and make them a consistent length and then add a few more tassels in at the bottom. But so far, I really love it and I cannot wait to gift it to her. The next thing that I am making is the step-by-step sweater by Florence Miller. This is actually a knit project, and this is how far I got. For some reason, whenever it's like Thanksgiving or the holiday season, I get the itch to start knitting a little bit more. And so that was what I did while I was back at home in San Diego for Thanksgiving. This is how far I've gotten so far. And this is in the macchiato, or Karen macchiato cakes that I showed you guys last time in the colorway Boundless. And I love the way that this yarn is working up. So far, I feel like it is turning out really beautifully. I was going to use this yarn to make the Glow Raglan by the Violent Cat Lady, but I thought that the step-by-step sweater might be a better place for me to start. It seems like a really good beginner-friendly pattern, and I would still consider myself to be a beginner knitter. I also did treat myself, you guys, to the larger needle sizes of the Chagu. I think that's how you say this brand. Chagu needles. They are so amazing. So stupidly, when I bought this needle set, I only bought the not sock yarn, but the smaller needle set sizes. And then I wanted the bigger ones later, so I ended up having to buy them. It was not the best deal. Obviously, it's best to buy them all in one. That's how you get the most value. But I did end up expanding my collection and getting the larger needle set. And I have to say, I do not regret it at all. I was using the Clover Takumi bamboo needle set before that, and it's just so grippy. I think when I was really new to knitting, it was good to have that grip so that way things were not slipping off of my yarn, but these metal needles are so superior now. It makes knitting so much more fun, and yeah, it is just taking me forever to get through this. If I have any knitters in the crowd, and I know this is a crochet podcast, so I won't keep going on and on about this, but if I do have any fellow knitters and crocheters, but knitters for this question, on my make one left and right, I have watched the tutorials so many times. I am like 99% sure I am twisting the stitch in the correct way. I have followed all of them over and over again, and yet I still have these little holes in my make one left and make one right. Is that gonna go away when I block it? It's really driving me up a wall. So if you have any tips for me, or if you've had a similar experience, please let me know, because that is driving me a little bit bananas. I did find a really good hack to fix it. However, at this point, I don't want to change the technique that I'm using. I want it to look more like a design choice instead of changing what I'm doing halfway through the increases. And the only pattern that I really have on my agenda to make for now, of course I will probably make some last minute Christmas presents, but for now what I know I'm going to make this month and need to start on ASAP is that purse for my best friend's birthday. I will be making the dusk purse, and I thought that would be a good segue into yarns that I want to try, because I have a shipment of yarn for the dusk purse. So I thought we could open this up together. This is the t-shirt yarn from Ganchette. I have such a hard time saying this name. I really shouldn't be using my fiber scissors on this like this, but what are you gonna do? So, here's the t-shirt yarn that I ordered, and you guys, this was freaking expensive to get here. I think I ordered 3 skeins of this, and I think it cost me like $70 just to get this shipped. I think the most expensive part of it, not the most expensive, but part of what made it so expensive was the shipping. It was like $17. So I think altogether I paid like $60 to $70, which is pretty expensive, but I'm hoping that it will be a really nice birthday gift. And I love the forest green color that I chose. I really wanted to make her this purse in like a darker brown color. I thought that would go well with her wardrobe. However, they were completely sold out in this brand and a bunch of others. So I settled on that forest green. But you guys, I just got this hoodie from Popflex. This is the cloud hoodie, and I got her the exact same one in like this green color. So I think that is such a fun little gift to have the purse that I'm making match with the hoodie that I bought her. That's my plan. I will be working on that very shortly because her birthday is coming up really soon. Moving on to a couple of other yarns that I really want to try in future projects. Doesn't have to be this month, but I am loving the Karen macchiato cakes, and that's what I used for my step-by-step sweater so far, and it has just made me want to try some of the other colors really badly. I want to try the Atomic Aqua color as well as the Glowing Grapefruit. They are both so bright and vibrant, and you guys, I just cannot say enough good things about this yarn. The affordability is amazing. The quality is great. In this entire skein of the first one that I went through for my sweater, I did not come across one factory knot, which is phenomenal, especially for that price. I don't know. I feel like factory knots just drive me insane, and I have not come across one. The colors are so vibrant. It's 80% acrylic, I think, and 20% wool for a, big box store brand yarn. It's not a big box store brand yarn, but it's one you can buy at Michael's. That is amazing. I love, love, love it, and I want to try some of the brighter colors. I feel like in 2025, color really had such a moment. Like, people really brought color back into things, which I love. I feel like for a while, and it's still kind of going on, we've been in this like really neutral stage, and I'm just so happy to see color just everywhere. And I was part of the neutral gang as well. I still probably am for my wardrobe, but it is really fun to see color making its way back into just the creations that everybody's making. So I love both of those. I really want to make something with them. And I wanted to say I have a really fun video coming out soon. It's going to be tier ranking the 2025 crochet trends, and that's going to be one of them, color. So stay tuned for that. Speaking of color, I also want to try out the Lang Orion yarn in colorway 9. This is a more expensive yarn, so it's on my Christmas wish list to my husband. We shall see if he fulfills that wish list item. But I want to use this yarn to make the Violent Cat Ladies Glow Raglan, which I talked about in the last episode. So I think this would be beautiful. That pattern actually calls to use Lang Cloud yarn in the tweed, and that one is just sold out everywhere, but apparently this one has a very similar weight and makeup as that one, so feels like it would be a good substitute. Now we're going to move into color palettes that I am loving for the month of December, and of course I had to base these on the Christmas and holiday season. The first one that I have, I just called Classic Christmas, and I chose some of those colors on Colors, the website. that I just remind me of a quintessential Christmas. We have a darker burgundy, a darker green, like a forest green, mixed with this like matcha light sage, I guess, if you will, and then an eggshell white or cream color. I feel like you just cannot go wrong with this color combination, whether it's for a blanket, a sweater, a stocking. There are just so many beautiful items you could make. And I really liked the idea of adding in that sage color, just to break it up a little bit, because I feel like you see the red and green classic with white a lot, but adding in that sage color makes it just a little bit more unique. The next one was inspired by the blue and silver Christmas trees that my mom used to always put up. The tree that my mom used to always put up when I was a kid. I feel like that is a maybe underrated color combination in this season, but it so reminds me of like snowflakes and cold winter days, although we don't have those really in California too much. It's sunny out if you can't tell. But also this beautiful blue and silver tree that my mom used to decorate. This is not our tree. This is a picture from Pinterest. It's just a similar vibe. So from this photo, the color palette that I created was the silver and blue tree color palette. So we've got a beautiful like powder blue, looks more like a grayish white, again with that darker sage green this time to represent the tree, and then the gray, which would represent silver. Although if you were actually working this with yarn, if you could find something with silver specks in it, I think that would be so beautiful too. The last one is based on this picture of this beautiful snowy scenery, and I just love how the snow is kind of lit up by the sun rising, it looks like, or sun setting, either way. There's some pink in the sky, and that's reflecting off of the snow, making it almost look like this lilac color. It just reminds me so much of like the ski mountain that my dad and I went to in McCall, Idaho, and it looks exactly like how it was in my memory, so it kind of holds a special place in my heart. And then these were the colors that I derived from that photo of the snowy scenery, and this is not really like a typical Christmas holiday palette, but I still think it belongs really nicely in the colder months because it's a bit cooler toned, yet still warmed up a little bit with that nice pop of the dusty rose. Hopefully the lighting is not horrible. I think it might be. Just bear with me. I'm sorry. Now we're gonna move on to the Crochet in the Wild segment, which is my favorite. This is where I highlight crochet or knit in the real world, whether it's through news articles, on celebrities, in media, and of course, having it be December, we have yet another heartwarming segment. I feel like this is the month of giving back, and that is exactly what is happening out of Dallas, it looks like, North Texas. We have an article by NBC DFW out of Plano, Texas. It says Legacy Knit and Crochet Club donates handmade items to people in need. This is basically a group of retirees at the community Legacy Willow Bend. They have spent years crocheting blankets, hats, cold weather necessities to donate to people in need. And get this, as of December 2025, they have donated 50,000 handmade items to people in need. If you want something heartwarming, go and watch the video. I will link the article in the description box down below. Go watch the video of these people talking about their club. It is so sweet and heartwarming. They have so many talented makers there, and one of them is using a knitting machine, and she is just whipping out knit beanies like no other. I think that is so fun. I also think I even saw one of them using Karen macchiato cakes to make up a beanie, if my eyes did not deceive me. So if you're looking for a fun, feel-good crochet story or knit story, definitely go and check that out. The next one is for any Sabrina Carpenter fans. We had a picture of her doing a photo shoot for Variety wearing this beautiful, intricate crochet dress, and I love the detailing down the back of this dress. It looks like there are some really dramatic frills, and I think the dress is see-through, so she had to wear some kind of like bodysuit underneath, of course, but just looking at the lace work on this, it is so beautiful and intricate. I would expect that it really is a hand crocheted item, I would hope. A little bit less heartwarming than the last one, but still beautiful to see crochet being enjoyed out in the wild. We're gonna wrap up with a couple of crochet content creators that I've been loving over the last month. First, we have the Faded Wildflower Crochet. She is a fellow YouTuber here, and I love watching her channel. Her name is Rachel. She makes really fun crochet content. She tests yarn gadgets. She has recently done a yarn dyeing video that was really fun to watch. She does amigurumi kits. She's really creative with all of the different videos she does, and I always know that I'm gonna enjoy it when I watch one of hers. I also feel like she does a really good job of keeping things very cozy and laid back on her channel. It's my favorite when creators make it feel like you're just spending time with an old friend, and I feel like she definitely does a good job of that. Then the last one is more of a pattern designer. I actually just started following her because of her sock pattern. Her name is nora.moon_ on Instagram, and she does a lot of crochet and knitting patterns, and she has quite a few free tutorials here on YouTube as well, it looks like, but I found her through Instagram. I love this surface stitch beanie that she has with the XOXO surface stitched on top, and then she also had that pair of crochet socks. What I really respected about her as I was following her on Instagram, I saw that she had released a beautiful crochet sock pattern, one that I mentioned in one of my Christmas pattern roundups, but people were saying that they didn't like the seam being on the bottom because it wasn't comfortable. What did she do? She went and recreated the pattern with the seam on top within like a matter of weeks. So she's clearly a very talented crochet designer and generous for gifting or giving these patterns out for free. So she's another one that I would recommend. Those are the two content creators that I wanted to highlight for the month of December. I am fighting for my life over here with the lighting, you guys. It is turning so bad, so I'm going to wrap this episode up here. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was a little bit of rapid fire. I really wanted to make sure I sat down with you guys and caught up briefly though. So if you enjoyed this episode of the Cozy Crochet Club podcast, I hope you'll like, subscribe, and I'll be back in the future with more crochet related content very soon. Thanks, bye!